I've only had a few monitors in the 4 years that I've had my computer, so I thought it was just about time to upgrade to a newer one. But not just any monitor, it had to be ultra-wide and it had to be better than the two that I currently have. So I did some research and found a worthy candidate. This was the LG 34UC87M-B. This is otherwise known as the 34-inch ultra-wide 1440p curved monitor by LG. The specs look really good on paper, but do they hold up to real life? Well, let's get straight into the facts, shall we? The monitor is huge, like much bigger than I thought. I ordered it from Newegg about a week ago, paying $150 for the shipping, which is a lot. Thank you for being in Australia. And what you see here is the state that the box arrived in. A bit rugged, but to be expected if it didn't have an external cardboard box. Trust me, when seeing the actual size of the packaging in real life, it is much bigger than I expected. There is no picture online or video online that could have prepared me for how big this monitor is when you see it. After unboxing this monitor, I could really see what I was dealing with. So once turning it on, I was greeted by the 1440 by 3440 screen, which is very good, mind you. It's crisp, it's 34-inch, bigger than anything I've ever used before. Not to mention the subtle curve, which helps with the viewing angle that you get. I did face an immediate issue with this monitor, but that's only for me because I was dumb and I used to use the monitors that I had before very close to me. So as soon as I set this monitor up, I was sitting very close to it, and that would cause my eyes to strain very easily. But I have now learned to sit further back, and that definitely helps with eye strain. Continuing on with that screen, it comes with a contrast ratio of 1000 to 1, which is amazing because I have never seen such deep blacks on a monitor before. I've only seen it on things such as my phone, which has OLED, which is the deepest blacks you can get from a display. So coming from something that probably had a contrast ratio of like 50,000 to 1, this is a hell of a lot better than what I imagined it to be. So I'm extremely impressed with that. The monitor also boasts having a 5 millisecond response time from grey to grey. This should be really good for gaming, more on that later in the video. And if you must know, the brightness of the monitor is 300 nits. I'm not sure what that really means, but it is pretty bright. Moving through the feature list, this monitor supports HDMI, 2 of them to be exact, a display port, 2 Thunderbolt cables, 2 USB ports once you have a USB input, and the audio out, because you probably don't want to be using those speakers inbuilt. This is my first experience using a DisplayPort connector instead of a DVI connector, so I was very happy when it was like the easiest thing to insert and all worked straight away. The monitor won't be useful unless it had a great stand to go along with it. This one does not disappoint. It comes with a stand that is height adjustable and tilt adjustable. That is just enough for anyone to be happy with where they place their monitor. And yes, this monitor is VESA compatible if you want to use a custom mount for that. So how was it when I started to use it? Well, let's find out. To no one's surprise, this monitor blew me away as soon as I turned on Windows. It was immediately more colourful, had deeper blacks as advertised, and the resolution was so much better than having two 1080 screens. And that's something I can't explain without you guys seeing it for yourself. So the first thing I did on this monitor is play games. Not really the thing I bought it for, but That's one way to test how good it is. So the first thing I played was No Man's Sky. Quite a mixed review type game, but I really enjoyed it, and I thought it would be a great benchmark for this monitor, and boy did it not disappoint. The game was immediately more immersive. Having more screen real estate to the right and left of you just made the world you were in look much better, especially the amount of pixels on the screen. Also, if you were to run this game, you would need a pretty good graphics card. I'm running a 1070, but I'm sure I wasn't hitting 60 frames per second all the time because that graphics card probably couldn't keep up with the demand of No Man's Sky. The next game I played was Mirror's Edge, another really graphics intensive game. However, this game looked amazing on the ultra-wide display. It worked. Well, it crashed a few times before I got it working. However, as soon as you get into the game, adjust that field of view to match the width of your screen now. It just looked so much better. The city seemed very much alive. I also cranked up all the settings to max because I'm a aesthetic person and I prefer the looks of things rather than the performance. So I probably wasn't hitting 60 FPS in that game either. And the final game I played was a custom game of League of Legends. This game I played very often, but I wanted to see how it worked when it scaled to a ultra-wide, and it scaled very well. Everything looked basically like it fit in place. Things are a bit spread out, however I don't really mind because I'm not a professional gamer. If I was a professional gamer, I wouldn't recommend a ultra-wide to a RTS player. However, I had a lot of fun with it. I did notice some scaling issues in the text, but that would just be there to make sure you can see the text when hovering over the tooltips. So overall, that was a very nice game to play on a ultra-wide. Finally, I used the monitor for productivity, which it is marketed for. I found that the screen has abundance of area, so you can spread out all of your worksheets everywhere and you'll still have enough space to work on them all, side by side, mind you. However, it is advertised for stockbrokers, and apparently you can have 3 ultra-wides next to each other or one on top of another. I don't think that is practical for anyone except for those type of people. So that leads us to my final thoughts on this monitor. Would I recommend it to anyone? Yes, I'd recommend it to basically anyone who wants to get into productivity, because this will definitely help them. The steep price of the monitor may stop them from getting there, which it did for me for a very long time, so I decided to buckle in, save some money and spend it on this monitor and see how good it really was, and I was very impressed. However, this monitor does have an issue. It is not a gaming oriented monitor. It lacks G-Sync or FreeSync. If they were features that you definitely needed with your new gaming setup, I would recommend looking for a different monitor. However, those type of features cost you a little bit more. And you'll definitely need a pretty beefy graphics card to run all of the 5 million pixels on the screen. But overall, this monitor completely stomps the monitors that I had before. It outperforms them, it has more pixels on the screen than 2 monitors combined, and it just looks plain better. It is a very pretty monitor. I will definitely be using this monitor for the years to come, and I would recommend it to anyone who would come past me looking to get into productivity related things. So I thank you all for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to leave a like. If you didn't like this video, go down in the comments and explain to me why you didn't like the video, because I can always improve. And until next time, don't forget to subscribe.